Simo Sparrow, mate. Just how many more players have you lost? We believe it could be 4.
No, it's a bit more than 4, Barra. I think we've got 12 with that from last week's game will be unavailable this week. So there's a little bit of work to do with our side at the moment.
So the 9 we know, the 5 last night plus Petruccelli, Waterman, Dixon, Rotham. Is there a couple more there?
Yeah, well, there's 12 from last week. So there's probably too many for me to reel off, mate. So I'll let you guys get to work. I mean, we'll have to confirm all that this afternoon. So I won't go through all the details through health and safety protocols in terms of who, what, where. But yeah, we'll be leaning on the top up players that have become available to us in the last few weeks. So whether we use, 3, 5, possibly. That's just where we're at. So yeah, working with the AFL, the situation we're under and the contingencies we use. And, if we wake up tomorrow and we get another 4 or 5, what that looks like when we travel, if you unfortunately get a couple of cases in Melbourne, you're sort of stuck in Melbourne. Yeah, so we're working through a situation that I think we all thought might happen, and we're the ones working through it. So that's just the way it is.
Any talk of postponing the game? Surely that's got to be consideration. That's unprecedented, and also travelling and picking up a few more, perhaps.
Yeah, we're in discussions with the AFL. It's all happened pretty quick, Barrow. I mean, everyone PCR tested yesterday due to the little cluster we got, and then this morning we wake up and we obviously got what we got. So we're in constant communication with the AFL. They've been really good to us, the last few weeks with dealing. Even with last week, round 1, we had one player in our emergency who was not on our list. So we'll work through it, and whatever they tell us to do, we'll do, mate.
The other thing I've heard is lack of triple jabs among some of the waffle top-up players, so that they can't play because they can't come back in under the WA rules.
Well, if they want to play, they'll have to get a booster. So that'll be easy fixed. But yeah, we'll work. And some of them, I'm sure, have got COVID as well. So that'll all be worked through, mate. We're just going to stay positive. There'll be some debutants again this week, the opportunity to play and play with that spirit they played with last week. So, unfortunately, we're in a difficult position, but we can't sook about it. We just got to get on with it.
Can we name the waffle guys? Angus Litherland's obviously one. Giro, Mountford, Logan Young, those sort of guys?
No, you can't name them, mate, because we haven't picked them yet. So we'll work through that this afternoon, and tomorrow morning, and possibly Sunday morning. So that's the way it is. So we look, obviously it's not ideal, but that's just reality.
Has the coaching group been impacted by this at all, Simo?
No, we're going well. We're all good. So I think the staff for the most part have been okay. So obviously there was a fair cluster from last weekend's game, which is just unavoidable. I mean, the way it is at the moment across the state. Obviously, it doesn't preclude AFL clubs and players being part of it. So, the coaching staff at the moment we're 100%. So, but it is only Thursday. Or was it Friday? It's Friday.
Yep. You knew this was coming. I guess the whole competition did. But can you describe, now that you're going through it yourselves, how difficult this is to navigate with selection and just preparing for a match when this?
Yeah, it is a challenge. I mean, we're in a different position than us and Fremantle than the eastern states. They've done it really tough for over a year. There's probably a little bit more immunity, I suppose, at the moment, but that could change for them as well down the track. So it's just our turn. We happen to be the first club to go through it. I don't think we'll be the last. So, like I said, you just got to deal with what's in front of you. we'll make do. And yeah, obviously we're talking to the AFL about the next layer. If it gets to another level, I'm not sure what it all looks like. But I've only got to deal with what we've got.
G'day, Simo. It's Chatters here. The AFL have been pretty steadfast in saying that the games will go ahead, but have they indicated to you guys that there might be a bit of wiggle room now, just given the size of the numbers?
Oh, look, I haven't had the discussion, Chatters. I'm concentrating on the side, so we'll let Trevor and Gavin and Craig work through that with the AFL. At this stage, I'm just concentrating on the reality of that we might be playing, and more than likely we will be playing. Yep.
So I was just going to say, are you bracing for more positives tomorrow? Is that when you think about who's been hanging out with who, do you kind of suspect that there will be a few more positives?
Well, it's gone from 2 to 5 to 12 in a week. So, mate, I dare say there might be. We all PCR tested yesterday, and so today we're okay. But tomorrow morning we'll see what happens.
And Jack Darling was one of the players we're excited to see come back. Is he all good? Has he been one of the players who've been struck down, or is he still on track to play this week?
He's good to go. He's good to go. Yeah, look, really happy for him that he gets to play. Obviously, the circumstances are a little bit different with what's going on, and there's a few stories behind the stories that we haven't been able to share just due to the situations we've been in. It's going to be the first game that Tim Kelly and Willie Rioli play together ever. So there's some things there, that some debutants again, like I said. There'll be some positives we can take out of this, and we're also playing to win. So as much as that's a challenge, that's what we're here for.
And you mentioned the debutants a few times. So aside from the waffle top-ups, who's going to debut this week?
Oh, look, I can't. I don't want to talk that, just in case situations change. So it's going to be very fluid, the conversation. So what the team was 24 hours ago is completely changed. So I don't want to create a headline for a debutant and then that changes tomorrow morning. So we'll have to announce something this afternoon, but it'll be with some trepidation.
Yeah. And how many players will you fly across? And are you flying tomorrow now? Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll fly tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know. At the moment, we've got around 17, 18, 19 players available on our list. So, yeah, we've got to weigh up that, and then who we take and how many emergencies, all that sort of stuff. We're working through today. So I'm sorry I can't give you clarity, but I haven't got clarity myself.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Emma.
Adam, when you look at your squad, you've got, I reckon it's about 10 players who've got kids, and all of us who've got kids are finding it's going through schools and daycare and kindergarten, et cetera, et cetera. Is that where your biggest risk has been? Not cafes and life stuff, but trying to be a parent and with the close contact rules the way they are?
Oh, absolutely. It's put us in a different position. Even you don't want to compare what's going on, but I dare say we've got more kids than most clubs. I think there's 13 dads, maybe 10 to 13. So, and I've got 4 of them, and trying to keep control of what they do. They've got uni, work, school, footy. We're just like everyone else. So yeah, definitely. The family situation is probably the one we can't control. And then, when we train together and tackle and play and all that sort of stuff, it's unavoidable. So that's just the reality. We're no different than, everyone else in the community. We've just got a lot of fathers in our side, which probably adds to the situation.
So are you trying to split them a little bit during training sessions and coaching sessions and stuff like that, to have people spending less time around each other to reduce the prospect of everyone getting it at once?
Yeah, we have been trying, but obviously the diligence around wearing a mask, separation, meetings, less meetings, trying to do all those things. Of course, we're doing everything we can, but some of the stuff's just unavoidable. So that's just reality. How
do you coach at the moment? Like, you've got players who you don't know, you've got players who you're going to ask to play positions they've never played, and the expectations of what your team can do would differ depending on the talent levels there. What's your messaging going to have to be for these guys?
It's just opportunity. It's an opportunity to perform and win in adversity. So we want to be resilient, and these opportunities to display that. So having the right attitude is the number one priority. We can control that. We can control effort and work rate, and the rest of it, that's, we'll do our best. So I'm still in a positive state. It's no point. There's no point crying about it. Just got to get on with it. So yeah, we'll try and get the best team we possibly can in the positions they're familiar with. The unity amongst the group's really good. Like, there's a good spirit amongst the club and the group, which is critical in these situations. So, the way the guys live their trademark, and the club as well, I think that's really important in these times. So yeah, it's opportunity.
Just finally, I know you're not going to name names of waffle guys who could come in, but are there anybody who has not trained? Are we in a situation where players who haven't even trained with your team are going to have to come in? Like, because the way the rules have been structured, have you had that situation yet where the first time a player is going to put on a jumper is when they play rather than when they train?
Well, we've only had 3 players train with us. So yes, more than likely.
That's. I don't think you'll have anything more different than that in your career then, will you?
Sorry?
You're not going to have anything more unique or different than that in your career, where a player who you've had nothing to do with is going to be suddenly in the...
yeah, so far, I suppose. Yeah. Look, that's the way it is. I haven't got an answer for you. That's just what's going to happen. I'm going to meet some players for the first time. We're not far off with Naish and Dixon and these guys through the pre-season. So it's unique, but it's just reality.
Adam, Paddy Sweeney, in terms of realising you had a problem, I think you said earlier in the presser you went from 2 to 5, now obviously 12. When did you sort of realise that things were getting out of hand and at a rapid rate?
Probably yesterday, when it became a bit of a cluster, and we started to realise that there's not much you can do now. We sort of assumed it might have escalated after yesterday, and when does it stop? When it goes from 2 to 10 to 12. All the other AFL clubs outside of Fremantle have probably been through this. So goes 2 to 5 to 12 to 20 to 30. I'm not sure how the next step is, but I dare say there's a bit of experience in the other clubs of what they went through. It's just that they went through it in January, and we're going through it at round 2.
In terms of your travel arrangements, is that going to be a charter flight tomorrow? And then in terms of how you do accommodation and rooming with players as well, does things come down to those sort of fine points as well? Maybe getting a room by themselves?
I think they've had that for a while. I don't think they've shared rooms for a fair while. Even back in my day, I think you had choices. So that's okay. Sharing a flight, but they're training together and playing together. So as much as you want to try and mitigate risk, and we'll do that, and we have been doing it. There's going to be certain points where we've got no choice. So, yep, we'll do our best. We'll follow the protocols. We'll go above and beyond. Obviously, Melbourne's a bit different than WA at the moment, but I think we'll fly it tomorrow morning. And the game's at 1:10, so it's not ideal for us to fly out the day before a game and play technically a 10 o'clock game in Melbourne. But that's just the way we're at. So we'll do those things as best we can.
Do you even have time for a captain's run tomorrow, or even just stretch the legs?
Yeah, we'll do that. Yep, we'll get in. Hope there's a bit of daylight by the time we land, and then we'll have a captain's run and have a bit of a meeting, introduce ourselves, and then we'll ride out the next morning and have a crack.
Everyone knows how crucial preparation is, but is it sort of just learn and go on the run as you do?
No, we can plan it. No, we're pretty meticulous with our planning. Once we know what's in front of us, we can plan. So our attitude to playing North won't change in terms of what we want to do and how we want to go about it. It's just going to be different personnel and some new experiences for people. So, you know, I suppose the biggest risk that we face from a COVID situation is if we get any COVID cases in Melbourne, they're in Melbourne for the week. So dealing with that next phase and what it looks like next week is important as well. And that's probably what needs to happen with the AFL. Those conversations about that type of risk, the type of risk North take playing against a side that's got a fair few cases, that all that sort of stuff is what they're going to work through. But at this stage, we're preparing to play. And
I dare say, just touching on that in terms of fingers crossed it doesn't happen. If that did eventuate, though, then obviously the game the following week after and fixture changes and all that, it's just a flow-on effect if it happens.
Yeah, we trying to do all the scenarios is impossible. So let's just wait and see what happens in the next 24 hours, and we'll work from there. But yeah, look, that's just the way it is. And
just finally, in terms of you spoke about mitigating risk. Does it almost seem impossible to try to mitigate risk now, given the fact that clubs and players are being, you know, not going to cafes or social areas and things like this, but doing it at training? There's that risk there as well. Yeah, that's where it's a challenge. You know, I think yesterday we held off all the meetings, had a lot of isolation, and then we went out and tackled for 10 minutes. So I suppose you can avoid that as much as you can, but we want to prepare to play. So, you know, that's the challenge we've got. And we're here to play footy. So we're going to have to train and prepare the players as best we can.